So we're here today to talk about counting down to your launch, to think about your brand, to think about that brand launch. With me today is Susie Mariano from Northwest Colorado Health. She's going to be joining us later in the session, giving us some firsthand examples of some of the great work that she did in launching her brand there when we worked together. So let me just start with some basics. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Zach. I'm one of the founding partners of Mission Minded. Mission Minded is a branding firm that works exclusively with nonprofit organizations. So we believe that nonprofits and foundations can only have impact if people understand the importance of the work that you're doing. So not just how you do what you do, but why you do what you do. Every day we work with a broad range of clients. That includes National Federation of the Blind, Mile High United Way, and San Francisco Opera. And we help our clients think strategically about their brands, basically about the reputation that they're trying to nurture for themselves in the world, and then we help them bring that brand to life through naming, through visual identity development, through websites, and as a result, our clients are in a better position to raise more money, to bring in more volunteers, and to achieve their mission. My partner Jenny and I started this company almost 15 years ago, and we started it at a time where there are very few firms who were thinking about strategic branding in the nonprofit sector. There were branding firms, there were nonprofit professionals, but there weren't a lot of folks who were looking at where those two worlds come together. Today there are more firms that are thinking about that, doing that work, but at the time it really was an opportunity to say, how do we use some of the best practices in the corporate world, some of the best practices around branding, bring it into the nonprofit sector where we both had our backgrounds, and make sure that organizations that are doing good in the world are having the best impact they can have because people understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. So I already mentioned this. Go there, see our stuff. We're going to be talking about brand today, and since we are, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page about what brand is and why it's important. So when we're talking about brand here today, I'm not just talking about logo. I'm not just talking about visual identity or your name. When we're talking about brand, we're talking about it as a synonym for reputation. So that brand is a whole lot more than just the icons that represent it. It's the big idea that those icons are representing. And all of us have a reputation. All of our organizations have a reputation, whether we intend for them to have a reputation or not. So you can either go about it in a very intentional way, trying to craft the reputation you want, or you can go about it in a very unintentional way and find out what happens. Let me just take an example here. Kimberly, I'm going to pick on you for a moment. You're welcome. So Kimberly, how would your friends and colleagues describe you and your work? Pragmatic, results-oriented. And the thing is you probably didn't get this reputation because just once you did something that was pragmatic or just once you achieved results, right? You build a reputation because again and again you do the same things. Reputations are built through consistent actions over time. And that's the same thing is true for our organizations, that we build the brands of our organizations by acting consistently over time, by showing up in the same ways. And if one minute you are sort of haphazard and cavalier and the next minute you're focused on results, nobody knows really who you are, what you stand for. So we build our reputations by bringing that intentionality to what we do. Oops. So I want to share this video of Steve Jobs talking about brand because I feel like listening to him really solidifies what brand is, why it's important. So this is Steve Jobs, 1997. He just came back to the helm of Apple. And clearly one of the best branders in the world. So here's Steve.
To me, marketing is about values. This is a very complicated world. It's a very noisy world. And we're not going to get a chance to get people to remember much about us. No company is. And so we have to be really clear on what we want them to know about us. Now, Apple, fortunately, is one of the half a dozen